Hey you guys, it's me, Cupcake Jemma, and we're here at the Cupcake Jemma studio in the little test kitchen because I really want to show you this awesome technique for marbled buttercream. Now this is something I have realised is very simple and very effective. You might have seen it around actually, it's sort of popping up here and there, and it's brilliant because you end up with this really classy, swirly cake, which just very nice and very beautiful. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I've got a cake to a crumb coat stage. Now you can use whatever flavour you want. Obviously I've got lots of recipes on the channel, and I'm going to give you a recipe for what will end up as a 7-inch cake with 4 layers and then filled with Swiss Meringue buttercream. So all I did was I beat together my butter, my vegetable oil and my caster sugar together for a couple of minutes until it was nice and fluffy. And then I added my eggs 2 at a time and I beat for a few seconds after each addition. Then before I had my wet ingredients, I added a scoop of my self-raising flour and folded that in slowly to prevent the batter from curdling. And then once that was all mixed in, I added my buttermilk and vanilla mixture and folded that in slowly as well. And then finished it off with the rest of my flour and a bit of sea salt, which again, I just folded in on the slowest speed until it was all combined. Then I popped the batter into 4 greased 8-inch sandwich tins and leveled the tops of it with a palette knife. And then I baked those at 170 degrees C for 26 to 28 minutes until they were golden on top and a skewer came out clean from the middle. Then I just leveled the tops and trimmed the edges just to get rid of any brown caramelized bits, and then stacked it with Swiss meringue buttercream and jam in between the layers, and then gave it a crumb coat, chilled it in the fridge for about 20 or 30 minutes until it was completely set. So it's nice and firm to the touch really. You want it to be nice and firm before you start putting the top coat on. And for the top coat and the inside, I'm using Swiss Meringue buttercream, which is just the perfect buttercream for this technique. American style buttercreams have a tendency to get a crust on it, and you don't want that because there's going to be some scraping involved. So you'll have to like scrape off a crust, which isn't very nice. Whereas Swiss Meringue is lovely and silky and smooth. Well, you can see. I've got loads of recipes. I'll put a link to the main one in the description box below, but as you can see, it's really lovely and smooth, and I just love it. Also, it's not quite as sweet as American buttercream, so if super sweet isn't your thing, but it's really simple to make. So all you need to do is mix your egg whites and your caster sugar together in a heat-proof bowl, a nice clean one, and then just transfer that to a bain-marie, which is just set over a medium heat. And then you heat the egg mixture, just stirring every now and then with a whisk until there are no more grains of sugar left. And then just transfer that bowl to your stand mixer fitted with the balloon whisk attachment, and then get it whisking on a medium-high speed. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, it should be glossy, white and thick, and also the bowl should be cool to the touch. So that means you can add your butter. Your butter should be nice and soft. Add it a little at a time while the whisk is still whizzing round. And then when all the butter is in, add a little bit of vanilla extract and bob's your uncle, lovely, smooth, silky buttercream. And I'll put all the quantities for the amount of icing that you'll need for an 8-inch cake in the description box below. But the bulk of the icing is going to remain white, but you're going to need to pick a colour because you're going to need 2 shades, one slightly lighter than the other. I'm going with a more natural marbly vibe, and I'm going to use Colour Mill colours because they go really nicely in the Swiss Meringue buttercream. They just mix really nicely. I'm using black, concrete and a bit of latte just to take the edge off the coldness of the grey. So just in 2 little small bowls, pop a dollop of buttercream into each of them, and then use your chosen colour to make 1 shade which is slightly darker than white, obviously, and then 1 shade that's even darker than that. Lovely. Now, it's really important that when we put these colours together, we don't mix it too much because then you won't get that lovely like marbling effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of blobs of each colour into my main bowl of white, and then just briefly wiggle my spatula through it. Again, not being too vigorous, don't want to mix it, just want to ripple it. So I can add a bit more if I need to as I go along. So I've still got a little bit of icing in my 2 bowls, but I'm now going to start applying it. So I'm going to use a big palette knife for this, a big straight one. And it's really important that we put a lot more icing than we're going to need, because what we're going to do is start building up the buttercream so that then we can scrape away layers. So I'm just going to grab a blob of it with my palette knife. Again, not trying to mix it as I pull it up, and then just smush it on without doing too much spreading. And I'm going to keep on doing that until my whole cake is covered in a really thick layer of mixed icing. Right, that's pretty good. I've got a load of icing on there. You want to make sure that you do have enough on that top corner, although when you do the top you will obviously spread some out as well, so you can kind of mix the two together. But I am going to do the top now and in exactly the same way. So that's the cake basically covered in an absolute ton of icing, looking pretty messy. I mean, actually, I think it looks quite cool like this, but this isn't the look we're going for right now. We need to smooth it out. Now, I'm using my cake scraper for that. What's going to happen is you're going to smooth it and it is going to meld the colours together. Don't let that freak you out. It's all going to be revealed later. So it's really important when you're smoothing not to scrape too much of the icing off. You want a nice thick layer now. If, as you smooth, you are revealing lots of big craters, just get some of that buttercream and smush it back in to fill the holes. And then go around again with your scraper. So you can smooth out the top as well, just in the same way with your cake scraper, but that might reveal some major crevices and holes in your corners. So just grab little bits of icing and build those corners up, and then you can go round again, just a tidy corner. There's a bit of a grey blob at the moment. Not much marble happening here. And again, actually, I kind of think it looks quite cool, but like I said, this isn't what we're here for. We're here for marble. So first thing you need to do to get closer to that point is to pop this cake into the freezer for 20 minutes. No more than 20 minutes, guys. Really important. So it's had 20 minutes in the freezer and it is really nice and firm. And what we're going to do now is we're going to scrape some layers of buttercream off. Now, you can go ahead and use your regular plastic cake scraper. I've managed to do it with this before, but I'm going to use a metal one. I've just got like a bench scraper. This is what I use for my pizzas. So whichever works for you, but it needs to be really straight and it needs to be able to go straight on the cake board as well, so you don't have any interference from like a handle or something. So all I'm going to do is, in the same way that I would smooth out my icing, I'm going to scrape my icing off with my cake scraper. So when your scraper gets sort of full of icing, just wipe it off back into the bowl and just keep going round. And also, you know, because it's an unusual way of icing the cake in the first place, you might find it's a little bit uneven. Mine's a bit blobby at the bottom. So I'm going to pay particular attention to that bottom section with my scraper to try and even it out in the process of scraping some of this icing off. And it will take a few rounds, but eventually you'll start to see those marble shapes coming through. So it's starting to go a little bit soft and I think I've got a little bit of an air pocket here. So I'm going to just pop a little bit of my reserved icing to help it fill up any air bubbles. And also you might find you need to pop this into the freezer again for like 5 minutes at a time, just to reset if you're scraping away and it's feeling a bit soft. So that's my sides done, and now I'm going to tackle the top. Now I'm not going to go to town on the top. Really, I just want to make it neat and tidy, but if I reveal some marbling under there, then everyone's a winner. The reason I'm not too worried is that I can always put blobs of buttercream or decorate the top if I'm not happy with the top, but I'm going to see what I can do. I am very happy with that. I think I've scraped just enough off. Now you can definitely scrape too much off. Don't want to go crazy and scrape it down all the way to the bare bones of the cake. That would be really sad. But I'm really happy with this marbling. I think it looks very, what was it, like an Italian marble. I hope you give it a go. If you do, make sure you take pics, use the hashtag Cupcake Jemma over on Instagram, or if you are a Bake Club member, we have a special chat thread where you can put pictures of your bakes and we check them out and we absolutely love it. And I can't wait to see how yours are going to turn out. And I can't wait to see what colours you do, because I think this will look really good in all the colours. So anyway, just a couple of things to tell you. We have a live bake-along on the 22nd of June. That's going to be for YouTube, so everyone in the world is welcome to join. Please do come along. If you want to know what we're going to bake and what you're going to need for that, make sure you're following Cupcake Jemma on Instagram, because that's where all that information will be. And if you're a Bake Club member over on Patreon, then we'll be doing a live Ask Me Anything straight after that bake. So there is still time to sign up and become a Bake Club member. We absolutely love it when you do that. It's a really great way to connect with me and the gang and also each other. And it's a really great way to support the channel. So please do that. It's really helpful and we love it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and give it a go. Imagine what it would be like as a wedding cake, like a 3-tier marble number. Please send me a picture of that. You do it. I'm busy.